Ukraine was a place that I'd been offered to teach a jiu-jitsu seminar prior to, I guess, the war commencing, the full-scale war commencing. And we're looking for a bit of adventure, something interesting to film, something following the news. Obviously, very controversial in the news. People have very strong opinions. And I was like, let's go over there. Let's throw a charity event. Let's do something. Let's train with the people and really experience it for ourselves. So we set up the seminar. Turned out to be the biggest seminar for jiu-jitsu in Ukraine history, which is wild, considering obviously they are at war. But everyone came together to support it. And one of the soldiers there, one of my friends there, a good friend now, who's on the front line, he made a comment on there. And he said, hey, like, this is a seminar to donate profits to the soldiers, but we're on the front line. And I was like, you know what? I'll come to you. And he's like, listen, I can't promise you'll survive, but I'll promise you'll have a good time. And I said, that's all I needed to hear. So we connected, and my friend Roman, we went really, really close. I think we were at the closest point 7 kilometers from the front line. Obviously, very surreal experience to be over there, seeing basically how the battles fought with all drones.
How long ago was this?
I think it would have been March or April. So we went there. We went basically spent 2 nights up on the front line, went back to Kyiv, and that was it for that trip. In terms of crazy stuff that happened, obviously just the people living. Like, you download the air defense tracker. So at any time there could be an air siren going off, an air alert on your phone. Could be like drones heading your way, planes are in the air, missiles flying. And then those missiles will change direction and stuff. So the air alert, you don't know if it's heading a different direction, but they just sort of warn everyone. So you live under a constant state of fear, basically. And then on that first trip, the heaviest moment was I was going downstairs in the hotel to work out, which is honestly a rare thing these days, doing something healthy with myself.
You working out?
Getting in the gym, pumping some iron. And this was divine intervention that a hypersonic missile was shot down by the Patriot defense system just like 5 minutes from the hotel. So the whole hotel and the attached gym just shook like crazy. And some people started freaking out. Most people went to leave to go outside, which I don't think is recommended, but you want to see what's going on out there.
This was in Kyiv.
This was in Kyiv. So it got shot down, and then some of the local troops actually took me to the site of where just part of the missile had landed in the ground and left this huge sort of indentation. They'd already cleared up most of the, I guess, shrapnel from the missile. I don't know if I should or if I was legally allowed to do this, but I took some of that missile back home with me. I don't know where I left it, actually. But I thought maybe that would raise some alarm bells and airport scans, but no. I took it regardless. And that was basically the craziest thing that happened on that first trip.
The Patriot defense system is incredible. It's an incredible piece of technology. That's from the United States. It's expensive, but it's incredible. And then, so that's protecting Kyiv.
That's protecting Kyiv, yeah. That was at the time where US hadn't voted to, I guess, keep funding the weapons over there. So it was kind of a tense moment because I think, I don't know, everyone was thinking like, when do those air defense missiles run out? So that was a heavy moment for me, thinking, look at what it shot out the sky. Like, imagine if they didn't have that. But that was probably the most surreal moment. But Kyiv, largely, life goes on most of the time as per normal. I was faced with crazy messages and comments, even just posting that video. Like, I'm getting paid by Ukraine and stuff. And it's just like, people just don't understand that, like, life has to go on. Like, Kyiv's here, the front line's far away. Like, the cities have to largely try to operate as normal, or just life will not go on in those villages and cities.
Well, it's human nature as well. It's not just Kyiv, it's Kharkiv, it's even Donbass, Kherson. People get accustomed to war quickly because it's impossible to suffer for prolonged periods of time. So you adjust, and you appreciate the things you still have. Yeah,
some baller moves out there. I love seeing like people that just crazy stuff's going on from the war and they don't even react to it. They don't go to the bomb shelter. Yeah. It's like a baller move. Like, I'm not going to change my lifestyle. Actually, on that first trip as well, something else that I probably shouldn't have been allowed to do was go to Chernobyl.
Yeah.
So Chernobyl, I believe troops came through Belarus and there was some fighting going on in Chernobyl. I think the whole world got concerned at that point if any sort of radiation leaked. But Chernobyl, as it stands, the troops backed out and it's completely covered in mines. Very, very difficult to go to Chernobyl. Basically, as a tourist or as like a idiot like myself, should really probably not be allowed in a place like that. But we were able to get there. We passed like 4 security checkpoints. It took 2 attempts. First time we tried to go in there was with the Special Forces guy. We cleared 2 security gates. Then they stopped us and basically threatened us with arrest. Rightfully so. Really have no business going to Chernobyl. We made a connection. I won't say who this connection was, but he had heard about what I'd done sort of with a charity event and opened some doors for us to be able to go to Chernobyl. So we got to see Chernobyl. We had some filming restrictions there just because it was a crazy military sort of conflict at one point, and we got to actually see Chernobyl. Chernobyl has always been a dream of mine to see because it's just such an interesting place. And to see it under these conditions, very, very strange.
Yeah, what was that like? So there's no civilians there now.
It's just completely empty. I guess it's kind of like the fantasy you have. I imagine people go on tours of Chernobyl back in the tourist days when it was a tourist spot, and it would be busy, full of tourists. We got basically a private tour, so we got to really feel that abandoned sort of vibes. I guess I was interested in it from playing Call of Duty and then Chernobyl series, all the documentaries and stuff, but very, very strange place to go visit.
And it is now a minefield, like a lot of parts of Ukraine. That's one of the dark, terrifying aspects of wars, how many mines are left. Even when the war ends, for decades after, there's mines everywhere because demining is extremely difficult. And that could continually kill people.
I don't think it'll be a tourist spot for a very long time, because if you were thinking about areas to demine when the conflict ends, an area where if you accidentally trigger a mine could cause a radiation leak, it's probably going to be very low on the list. So tourism for Chernobyl, who knows how long until that returns.
Why do you think you were able to get to Chernobyl? Why don't you think the Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian soldiers don't see you as a threat?
Maybe they were hoping I did step on a mine. Maybe my jokes didn't go too well there.
So your connection was actually Putin. He was trying to get rid of you.
Putin, yeah. Now, I don't know. I mean, we felt pretty safe when we were there. There was an air alert went off. They were kind of more concerned with me dying just for the PR side of things. It's like Australian tourists.
In one of your videos, I actually, heard Ukrainian language. They were talking about we don't want to lose an athlete. That's what they're saying as you're loading the rocket launcher.
Oh yeah, the rocket launcher. I shot a rocket launcher with the troops on the first trip, but the second trip I went back to, which was only maybe 4 to 5 weeks ago. Yeah. This time we went to some crazier spots. So we went to Odessa, which has been hit a ton.
I really enjoyed the video of old man stretching and like exercising on the
what is Odessa that? Is that a local custom?
Well, Odessa people are known historically to be wild.
That was wild. It was abrasive to the eyes, but I appreciated it. Especially a middle-aged man in underwear with a beer belly doing a sun dance at dusk. That would frighten many people.
Yeah. The battleship would turn around. So where else?
We went Odessa. We briefly went back to Kyiv. So I made a connection with the police chief for basically the entire country last time. And he had said to me that if I wanted to go somewhere sort of really heavy in terms of action, we could go to Kherson. And he's like, I'll personally escort you to Kherson. Yeah. And I was just like, well, here we have an invitation for adventure. I think it's a great idea to go. And I thought, you know what? I'll completely lie to my cameraman and tell him it's a safe trip to go on so that he can pass that information on to his fiance. Yeah. And she won't have any concerns. Yes. So we basically take this huge journey all the way down to Kherson. We switch at a city outside. I can't remember the name, but we had to switch a sort of armored vehicles. Mm-hmm. And I remember the guy that picked us up there said, hey, give me a phone number for someone to call to recover your bodies. Yeah. And he said that in a joking way, but I think he was serious. But I said, just leave it, Mm-hmm. I don't think they need it. I don't think we much left, probably, if we get hit over there. Mm-hmm. But we go basically into Kherson. I think Kherson's population used to be like 250,000. Mm-hmm. Now it's like basically all military down to 50,000. So we went into the police, basically stationed in the bunker underneath. The top of the building was destroyed. And then one of the local guys just took us on a city tour, which again, we had some filming restrictions because obviously anytime something's hit, I guess the other side wants to be able to see what damage has been done. So if you take any footage of recently destroyed buildings, that's going to help them recalibrate and target the next shot. So Kherson being so heavily hit, it's basically within range of every single thing Russia has, every form of weapon, drones. Before we took the tour, he put some drone blocking things on top of the car, which didn't look reassuring. He also took a helmet out the back of the car, which I thought he was going to give to me, but he just threw it in the back of the pickup truck and said, oh, you won't need this, you'll be dead anyway. And I was like, oh, I've made a great life decision with this little Kherson tour. But then we took a tour of the city, and Kherson used to be kind of like a beautiful beach city by the Dnieper River. But basically, it's just the river that separates Russia from, I guess, the Russian land they've taken from Kherson. So Kherson split across that river, and there's just Russians on the other side of the river and Ukrainians on this side. So very, very dangerous spot. Kharkiv makes a lot of press because of the long-range missiles that hit, but Kherson's just being hit all the time. So we took this tour. We went along the river. We went to within 1 kilometer of the front line. So that was the closest we got. After this point, we heard artillery strike. And because you're in an armored vehicle, it sounds further away than it is. Obviously, the sound doesn't get in. So I thought it sounded far away. We could see some smoke that actually appeared close in the distance. The guy driving us took us to a point where a large building was blocking us from, I guess, the angle at which the missile would have came from. And I thought everything was cool. I thought that must have been off in the distance. And then we heard 2 more strikes hit very, very close. They sounded really loud. And then I think he's radioing in to see if everything's safe, if we can leave this point. And then we basically raced back. But I started to realize we were in danger at any point where he really sped the car up or sort of took sort of evasive movements in the car. But we got out of there, and I think I had someone translate it later. And basically, he was checking to see if the roads were clear for us to leave. Ultimately, it ended up being someone died and a few people were injured from that blast, which was less than half a kilometer from us. And basically, they were radioing saying, end the tour, come back to the police station.
Artillery is terrifying because they're just shelling, and it's the destructive power of artillery is insane.
Yeah, and it's constant all the time. Yeah, and you hear that noise, and you're like, is that coming or going? Very, very concerning.
Right. You don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know, and just like that, it could be you. You're gone.
Last time the village we went to, basically, it was the day we left. So we stayed there overnight. The day we left, it just started getting extremely shelled. And the soldier we were with just took a selfie video of us. And basically in the location we were in, just hearing just artillery strike after artillery strike, just being like, oh, you guys left and the fun began. So they take it in good spirit. I was trying to use their energy to reassure myself. But I guess when they see it every day, they're kind of more adjusted to it. They're not freaking out every time something crazy like that goes on.
Well, they have to, right?
Yeah,
they have to be in good spirit. You have to be joking and laughing, and
yeah, the guys are always laughing and joking. They were laughing and joking at me quite a bit, holding weapons, trying to shoot weapons and stuff. They got a lot of enjoyment out of me shooting the RPG.
Yeah, they're probably still telling stories of that crazy Australian American that rolled in.
They helped me out though in my marketing campaign for the tournament.
Yeah.
We were able to secure a Lada, classic Soviet Union car.
Mm-hmm.
We towed it. We painted it with the logos of the other event, the ADCC.
Yeah.
And we got to shoot some RPGs at it.
Yeah.
Great experience, great fun.
Yeah. It's a very creative marketing campaign.
Very dangerous one.
I don't think like Coke or Pepsi are going to do that one. So it's very, very innovative.
It was a bold move. Luckily, they let me get away with posting it. But when we were there, it was basically at a shooting range, and we cleared them out for a while. So we'd blown up the car. We'd set it on fire. We'd done all this sort of stuff. I remember we were trying to blow it up. It wasn't quite hitting. One of the missiles was lodged in under the car, so it was kind of risky. That could have gone off at any moment. But we needed to get it to ignite. We needed to get a shot where it was on fire. The logo of the enemy tournament was basically on fire. So we poured gasoline on it. We shot the gasoline tank. That didn't work. That must be a movie trick or something. And then we decided we'd light on fire a rag and just throw it into the blown out back window.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm with this guy, a special forces guy, and we throw the rag in the back.
Like soaked in gasoline rag?
Yeah, and we start running.
Yeah.
And he's like, stop. He's like, it didn't go off. So we're sitting there quite close to the car, lighting it, trying to light more as we walk back to the car. And then we just hear the car ignite. And he's like, run. So we came quite close to death already at that point. But we wanted to get the shot with some photos in front of the burning logos. But we had told the guys at the shooting range to basically give us 10 minutes or so we could take the photos. I don't know if they didn't wait the full 10 minutes or if we took too long, but they started firing at the targets anyway. And then the ricochets were flying very, very close to us over our head. One landed right by my leg. We're like, shit, we better get out of here. Obviously not much safety concerns at that point, but we survived basically artillery strikes. We survived a bit of friendly fire with the bullets coming our way. But again, I was strangely calm because the other guys were calm. But then afterwards, they said to me, they were like, oh, bro, if you got shot, we'd just have to dump your body at the hospital. We wouldn't be able to explain why you're here blowing up cars.
Right. And you're American, an athlete, international celebrity.
They'd be like, what is he doing on the front line? There's no real good explanation for it. But I mean, even through the jokes and stuff, it's good to like highlight what's actually kind of happening over there. You know, it's obviously very, very bad.
This is point 2. We're calling an octopus guard. Across the board, I don't want you to think of it as a guard. It's not a guard, it's not a closed guard, it's not a half guard. It is a position that we are moving at all times. We're hitting tipping points, tilting points, we're making them chase us and onto us, shoot for submissions and pins that aren't really there. So again, although we're calling it Octopus Guard 2.0, try not to think of it as a guard, think of it as an ongoing scramble. That is a problem that is hard for them to solve, and we're going to have sort of answers for all the options and all the risks we take along the way.